The Michigan Football Report is presented by Manscaped. You see this bad boy, it's made a big difference in the bedroom, keeping it clean down below. One of those, you guys know what I'm talking about. Take it in the shower. Manscaped.com, use promo code GOBLUE, no spaces, for 20% off and free shipping. And coming up on Friday, they have a big time, a Black Friday through Cyber Monday deal going on, so don't miss out on that. All right, we are going to get into the Michigan football mailbag. Handpicked quite a few questions that allow us to expand on some big-time topics around this team going into what I'm dubbing the game of the century coming up, Michigan-Ohio State on Saturday. And we've been doing this for 2.5, almost 3 years now. Give me a bosa down in the comments, folks. Beat Ohio State again. This is the photo that we have that's really changed the landscape of college football. Michigan, after the 2019 season. Now, they had a bad 2020 season, but we started talking about this, have not lost to Ohio State since we invented this or put this out. Going into election season, January of 2020, kind of leading into the presidential election, we came up with our own slogan for this program, have not lost to Ohio State since. So let's get the Bosas going. You guys have been great, been just absolutely destroying the comments with tons of Bosas and drowning out those pesky Ohio State fans who want to kind of come in and talk their trash. All right, let's jump into the first question. By the way, apologies yesterday, a little illness in the staff, so we couldn't do our live show yesterday, but we are back and better than ever today, tomorrow, and Friday for the game of the century. My guy, Josh Sherwood, says, will Ohio State have Jaxon Smith-Njigba, TreVeyon Henderson, or Miyan Williams available? Will Michigan have Corum, Schoonmaker, or Edwards? So let's talk about the Ohio State guys. Talk about this tweet, then we can come back to the question just to kind of go through these. So Bill Rabowanitz, whatever his name is, from the Columbus Dispatch with kind of a weird profile photo. We showed you this on the show on Monday, but we did want to reiterate for those who didn't see it, is Ryan Day said it's more hope than expectation that Jaxon Smith-Njigba, arguably the best wide receiver in the country going into this season, will play or not play, but I don't expect him to play this season. He's been really hobbled. I expect him to just be on there on the sideline, be there for support for his teammates, but be preparing for the 2023 NFL Draft. I don't expect to see him in an Ohio State uniform again. Other guys. Now, TreVeyon Henderson, Miyan Williams. I would say at least one of them will play, right? TreVeyon Henderson was in the game but seemed nicked up and didn't seem healthy, but I bet he'll give it a go. But they've got, Dallas Hayden, their freshman running back, looked great, had over 100 yards, I think a couple touchdowns on Saturday against Maryland, and Miyan Williams. But I think what this proving from the running back position is Ohio State does have much better depth. They've gone through 3 running backs this year. They've had all kinds of injuries, and it really hasn't slowed them down a ton. It seems like the last 7 or 8 games, every other game, 1 or 2 of those guys has been out. Luke Schoonmaker is going to be a game-time decision. I do expect Donovan Edwards to play. Blake Corum, we'll talk about him a little more in a second, but I did want to talk about Donovan Edwards' injury update. So, as I mentioned on Monday, he would have played. If Ohio State had been last week, I believe Donovan Edwards would have played. But there's been rumors of a broken bone in his hand. Again, I don't have multiple sources on this, so I'm not going to confirm that, but that's just the strong buzz out there on Donovan Edwards. So, if he plays, he will be limited in some regards. Now, I think the limitation may be around his ability to catch the ball, right? If you've got some sort of, soft cast in your hand, it might be tougher to catch the ball, but he will be desperately needed if Blake Corum is unable to go or is severely limited. So before we talk more about injuries, I want to ask you guys this question. Saw somebody put this on Twitter today, so I thought I'd hijack it, put it on our show. What Michigan player or players made you fall in love with the Michigan football program? I think I've got players. As a young kid, I actually think it was Tyrone Wheatley, right? It was Tyrone Wheatley, 94, 95 seasons, or 93, 94 seasons as well. And then where I really started getting into Michigan football was, as like I knew what was going on, knew the players, knew the recruits, was Charles Woodson's freshman year in 1995. So Woodson was probably the one that really made me a super fan and beyond. Since then, I've had kind of a few players I've really loved. Chris Perry, Braylon Edwards for sure. Really love Mario Manningham and others, but let me know what you guys think. Which player or players made you fall in love with Michigan football? What will the score be from Griffin? Was it say Griff Randall 7647? I've come up with a few score predictions, so I think, given this is Wednesday, we're 3 days out from the game, I'm going to give you my score prediction, but I want to know your score prediction. Predict the score, Michigan, Ohio State, coming up on Saturday, number 2 versus number 3. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the comments. My score prediction, ding, 35-24 Michigan. It was pretty close. Last year, I'm 90% sure my score prediction was 42-35. Ended up being 8 points too good for Ohio State, so they only had 27 last year. But, on our show coming up either tomorrow or Friday, we're going to have our 5 keys to beating Ohio State again. Last year, one of mine was scoring 40 points for Michigan, which they did. So I don't think they need to score 40 this year necessarily, but 35-24 is my prediction. Comment yours down below. My guy Carl Cordell says, if Blake's not 100%, can Donovan carry the load, or does it completely change Michigan's game plan? If so, can Michigan still prevail? Thinking about where Blake Corum's at, Donovan Edwards, etc., I definitely think there is some concern about Blake Corum, but also Donovan Edwards, right? I don't know if Donovan Edwards' injury is going to allow him to tote the rock 25 to 30 times. So why I'm concerned about him, if he can't go 100%, and if Blake Corum is limited, this could be a breakout game for C.J. Stokes. There's some speculation that Stokes got nicked up a little bit this past week with the Illinois game because he played a little bit, and then he disappeared for a quarter and a half, but then he had like one single carry late in the game, so it was really strange. But I think Stokes should be, from what we've seen all season, the number 3 back. But, whether he's 100% healthy, we'll see. But if Donovan Edwards is not fully healthy, and we know, I think, no matter what, if Edwards is healthy or not, Blake Corum is not going to be 100%. So if that's the case, Michigan still needs someone to run the ball, 8 to 15 times to spell Corum. I think that's where C.J. Stokes, if he is healthy, he can have potentially his breakout game as a Michigan football player. You could have a breakout holiday season, folks. You think your holiday spread is good? It's time to give thanks to Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0, or I like to call it, the perfect package for your package. One of them, the best thing about the Performance Package, I think, is this bad boy, the Lawn Mower 4.0. You can take it in the shower. It's rechargeable. You trim up down below. You can, if you've got attachments, you can go a little longer if you want. You can go right down to the skin. Manscaped's got all kind of awesome products. The Weed Whacker. Stick it in your ears, stick it up your nose, get rid of those unsightly hairs. Check out this one. They give you this newspaper. You toss it. You open this bad boy up. You toss it on the floor beneath you in the bathroom. Catches all the hair. You just fold it up. Boom. Right in the trash can. Manscaped also gives you the Manscaped boxers, which are super, super comfortable. They are having a massive sale coming up for Black Friday. So don't miss on that. It's going to be going Black Friday through Cyber Monday. Additional discounts off in addition to the 20% off you get with promo code GOBLUE. Manscaped is the best men's grooming products on the market, and they make great stocking stuffers. So if you're looking to stocking stuff a dad, a brother, a relative, a husband, boyfriend, whatever it is, get them some products with Manscaped, or put the word out. People say, what do you want me to get you for Christmas? Manscaped.com, promo code GOBLUE. Get the 20% off. Get the free shipping. Say, hey, give me a Lawnmower 4.0. Give me a Weed Whacker. Put that bad boy in my stocking. It will be a happy holiday season for you and yours with Manscaped. Eric Sloan says, what uniforms will Michigan wear on Saturday, and which uniforms would you like them to wear? And not that anyone actually cares, but what uniforms will the Suckeyes wear? Well, Ohio State's already put out that they are wearing their traditional home uniforms. And take a look at this photo right here, which is from my guy on Twitter, Swanky Wolverine. So he put this out there, and he is 4 for 4 this year with predicting Michigan's uniform combos, whether it's the blue pants and white jerseys, the all blues, and things like that. The blues, the all maize sleeves and socks they did the one game. And so that is what Swanky Wolverine put out yesterday. So I have no doubt that this will be the combo, the white sleeves, the white socks, the white pants, white uniforms. That's the same uniform they wore in 2018, so it's kind of bringing back a little post-traumatic stress disorder, a little PTSD. With Ohio State, though, being in their traditionals, Michigan seemingly, if Swanky has his eyes on the ball, which he seems like, wearing the all whites with the sleeves and everything, expect that to be potentially the uniform. I would love to see these, though. Take a look at the picture we've got here. Color Rush. We saw it last weekend, UCLA, USC. I thought it looked awesome. Every year they do it where they both wear their home uniform. So take a look at, we got CJ Stroud, we got Blake Corum, other way. Take a look at these bad boys. Those would be awesome. All blues, all scarlets. I wish they would get together because I think it would be the coolest thing in all of sports if Michigan would wear those color rushes, or hell, if not the color rushes, just at least their home and homes. That would be cool to wear. Hell, maybe do it once every 5 or 10 years. Once in Ohio State every 5 years, 5, 6 years later. up in Michigan. We will see what they wear potentially, but it seems like Michigan will wear the all-whites. But I want to know from you guys, which combination of uniforms is your favorite? I've really come to love the big game blues, the ones they wore to beat Ohio State last year. They wore against, of course, Washington early on. Now they did lose in them against Georgia, but they wore them again this year a couple times, most notably against Michigan State. So let me know what your favorite uniform combo is down in the comments. Owen says, will McCarthy throw for more or less than 125 yards and will complete more or less than 12 passes? Not very complimentary of what he thinks of JJ's ability. I think Owen might be an Ohio State fan. You never know. But let's take a look at what his last 4 games. After leading the nation in completion percentage a month ago, JJ McCarthy has really struggled. 18 of 34 last week, 208, no touchdown passes. And then prior to that, Nebraska, 8 of 17 for 129, 13 of 27 against Rutgers for 155, and 15 of 25, 60%, 167 yards against Michigan State. So October 29th through present, through the end of the season, really, he has struggled, and I think not developing a passing game. The more Michigan got success from Blake Corum. Early on, it was touchdowns, and then as we got into Big Ten season, it was like, well, Blake's just breaking off 6-7 yards a carry every single game, scoring 2 touchdowns. Why are we going to go away from that? And JJ can hit everything underneath to Ronnie Bell, Luke Schoonmaker, prior to that, Eric All. As those guys, tight ends, got injured, and as teams started creeping up a little bit, those passes were not as wide open as they were early on in the year. So that is a concern. And if Michigan loses this game and Blake Corum is not able to go 100%, Donovan Edwards, let's see, I think that will be the reason is that Michigan failed to develop a passing game, and you can't go into Ohio Stadium against the number 2 team in the country and all of a sudden say, okay, we're going to be a passing team now because our top 2 running backs are injured. Make sure you guys subscribe. As you see, we are your home for Michigan-Ohio State week. We will have video today, video tomorrow on Thanksgiving and on Friday, and then the fastest post-game show in college football. And I said if Michigan's up by 10 points or more in the second half, we're just going to flip the switch and go live. You can watch me watch the end of the game if Michigan's up by 10 or more. So subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/MichiganTV. Brad Bugatti, we'll call it that. Do you think we will see more of Edwards and Corum on the field together at the same time on Saturday? Any chances of seeing Alex Orji at QB for certain points in the game as potential running threat? Yes to that last one. I bet we see Alex Orji just to mix it up a little bit and to spell J.G. McCarthy's getting hit if he tries to do a quarterback run. But I actually don't expect Corum and Edwards on the field together because I think Michigan needs to keep both those guys as fresh as they can and toting the rock as running backs, more likely than not. I don't think you can have the Corum in the backfield, Edwards split out as wide receiver because neither one of these guys is going to be 100%. And if at best case scenario, I think each guy gets 12 to 15 carries potentially. Now, if Blake Corum is fully healthy or at least 85, 90%, he will probably get more of those carries. But his health, Blake Corum's health, is key to this game. Can he play this week? I think, as I mentioned with J.J. McCarthy, Michigan has not shown that they can win without him. And maybe that's false. Maybe not win without him, but how about dominate without him? And why do I say that? Well, we saw this past week. I mean, it took 3 field goals and really kind of sketchy offensive production from the team in the second half without him. So I guess they showed they could win without him, but maybe they have shown that they can win or play their normal game. What we saw in the second half against Illinois, got the win, but it won't even come close to getting the job done in Columbus on Saturday. Michigan Patriot 17, a.k.a. Michael Day 1980 says, do you think Harbaugh is playing mind games with the different injuries, and do you think he has some special plays left for Ohio State that we haven't seen yet? I don't think he's playing mind games because we've seen these injuries have happened on the field. It's been pretty obvious, and maybe he kept guys out that could play just to make sure they were healthy for Ohio State. If that's mind games, then sure, but I don't think he's being purposely coy about anybody at this point. But we had Zach Smith, former Ohio State wide receiver coach, on the show last week, and what Zach said was, the whole holding back plays for the final game of the year typically is not a real thing for college football teams. It doesn't really happen. But what he says, you might see different wrinkles out of things. So I went back to last year's Ohio State-Michigan game, and what we saw was quite a few different wrinkles, right? One of which was we saw a ton of end around last year from Mike Sainristil and A.J. Henning. There was that one play Mike Sainristil came on the end around, didn't get the pitch or the handoff, but he went out for a pass. That's a wrinkle, right? How about J.J. McCarthy coming in last year, They were just kind of expecting every time McCarthy comes in, it's kind of a run or sometimes shorter passes. You hit, I think it was AJ Henning up. No, it was Roman Wilson up the sideline in between the zones. So I think you'll see wrinkles of the stuff we know, and the more wrinkles you get that they're successful on, I think the more chance that this team has to potentially win this game. Make sure you are typing Bosa beat Ohio State again down in the comments. Let's keep this beat Ohio State again train rolling. And just think about this. We're going to talk about Ryan Day here in a second, but beat Ohio State again this year. That's 22, 21, no game in 20. Ryan Day will be going to year 5 next year with no wins at home against Michigan and 1 win in his rivalry or in his coaching career as Ohio State's coach going into year 5. I'm not saying he's going to be on the hot seat, but I'm not saying he's going to be on the hot seat. And he might be on the hot seat for this because Sir Goat says, what brand of hair dye, Goot says, what kind of brand of hair dye does Ryan Day use on his beard? My money is on L'Oreal. Well, I don't know who said this, but I saw this on the internet today. Not sure if this is a real photo or not, but not L'Oreal, just for men. People have speculated that before he became Ohio State's head coach, he was doing some modeling on the side to make extra bucks. I'm not sure if that's verified or not, but take a look at that photo. I mean, what a bum this guy is. Ryan Day, I just think he's one of the least genuine guys. He's kind of a fake guy, I think, in a lot of ways. Every time I hear him talk, my skin just crawls. He just makes me cringe. And I think he's a bum. If you think Ryan Day is a bum, give me a B down in the comments. I'm just going to type B a couple times. B, enter right there in the comments. Just for Men spokesperson, former spokesperson, probably Ryan Day. Big-time bum, about to take his second loss in a row to Michigan. We will be back on Thanksgiving with another video, so make sure you guys are subscribed. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your family. Get ready for a big-time Michigan victory on Saturday. Until I see you tomorrow, go Blue.